On a seemingly ordinary day in October 2007, a group of tourists set out to explore the Namalu cave, located in the serene beauty of Thailand. Among them were Helena and John, two adventurers whose hearts beat for the thrill of discovery. Their journey had been filled with wonder so far, but little did they know, this expedition would turn into a nightmare they would never forget. The cave, renowned for its splendor, became their chosen destination. However, it was monsoon season, and locals had warned them time and again, do not enter the cave during these rains. But their curiosity and excitement drowned out these cautions, as they sought the thrill of the cave's depths, determined to experience something few others had dared. They were not alone in their decision. Others, too, joined in, disregarding the warnings that could have saved them. The group, guided by locals with little more than rudimentary knowledge of the cave's unpredictable dangers, set foot inside, unaware of the looming disaster. The initial moments were filled with awe as the cool, damp air and the flicker of headlamps illuminated the cave's vastness. The ceiling glistened with the eerie reflection of bat eyes, while the walls harbored hidden creatures, including venomous spiders and deadly snakes. But none of that seemed important at the time. They were too caught up in the beauty of their surroundings to heed the growing sense of danger beneath their feet. Minutes into their exploration, the water level began to rise. Slowly at first, then quickly. It crept up their legs, but they still thought they had time. And then, without warning, the roar of rushing water echoed through the cavern, shaking their very core. Panic set in as they looked up and saw the wave of water hurtling toward them. The cave, a place they had once imagined as an adventure, was now a death trap. Helena and John scrambled to find higher ground. Through the chaos, John spotted a ledge and without hesitation pulled Helena up. They had made it for the moment. But the water didn't stop rising. It surged faster than they could comprehend. They could only watch in helpless horror as the rest of their group was swept away by the merciless current. The chaos of that moment was too much to process. The minutes felt like hours as Helena and John clung to the ledge, waiting for help that never seemed to come. The water continued to rise, the air grew heavier, and the once beautiful cave became a cold, menacing place. John, ever the brave one, made a decision that would change everything. Desperate, he believed that if he could get to the water, he might ride the current out of the cave and get help. He told Helena to stay put, to be safe. With a final heartbreaking "I love you," he jumped into the deadly current, disappearing into the churning waters, leaving Helena alone in the darkness. Time stretched on. Hours passed, each one more unbearable than the last. Helena, shivering from the cold and consumed by fear, sat in the silence of the cave, wondering if she would ever make it out alive. As the darkness and isolation threatened to break her, she fought to stay awake, drinking the polluted water around her to survive. Finally, a faint cry echoed through the cave. Someone was calling for her. A local man with a bamboo cane found her, guiding her out of the cave, step by agonizing step. She could barely walk, pain surging through her body, yet she kept going, praying for an end to the nightmare. When they reached the cave entrance, the reality of her ordeal hit her. There, laid out on the ground, were the bodies of everyone else in the group, including John. Her heart shattered as the truth became clear. She was the only one who survived. The man who had been her constant companion, the one who had shared her hopes, her dreams, was gone. Helena's mind refused to accept the cruel twist of fate. She was told John was waiting for her in an ambulance, but when she reached the pier, she was informed that he had died shortly after being swept away. The love of her life was gone, and she was left alone in the world. As the bodies of the others were recovered, the tragedy of Namtalu Cave became a grim reminder. of how quickly beauty could turn into danger, how excitement could become a fight for survival. The authorities later pointed out that the warnings in both Thai and English, had been ignored. The cave, though beautiful, had claimed lives because the dangers were brushed aside for the sake of adventure. For Helena, the loss of John was a wound that would never heal. She was left with nightmares, guilt, and an overwhelming grief that lingered long after the storm had passed. The water she drank from the cave left her physically scarred, but it was the emotional toll that would haunt her forever. She would never be the same after that day. The Namtalu cave, once a place of wonder, had become a place of death and heartbreak. The lives of those lost were cut short by a decision made in haste, a decision that disregarded the warnings of those who knew better. As Helena reflected on the tragedy, she couldn't help but wonder how different things could have been if they had only listened, if they had turned back when they were told to, if they had given the danger the respect it deserved. Maybe they would still be here today, but it was too late for what ifs. Now Helena carried the weight of that day with her, hoping that by sharing their story, others would think twice before embarking on dangerous adventures without considering the risks.